Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to show you a time-lapse of a portrait painting with a mandala elephant background. I did this painting as part of my mandala series. This is the third piece to my existing two paintings, and they are all measured 20 by 20 inches. For dark shadows, I'm mixing burnt umber and ultramarine blue to achieve a near black color. For a pretty pink, rosy blush tone, I like to use permanent rose, cadmium yellow, and burnt umber. For darker flesh tones that are in shadow, I like to use alizarin crimson, cadmium yellow, burnt umber, and ultramarine blue. Always leave a trail of the previous color so you have a reference, and you can also come back to it without having to mix it again. First, start with the value of the painting. Value means the lightness or darkness of something, focusing on areas that are in light and in shadow. The key is to start with the main areas that have the same lightness and the areas that have the same darkness. And don't worry about the small details for now. Squint your eyes when you're looking at your reference photo, so you leave very little light into your retina. This blurs your vision and cancels out the small details, leaving the light and dark areas looking like chunks of shapes. Once you have a pretty good idea of the light and shadow areas of the painting, you can start adding the tone, which is the warmth and coolness of each color. Areas that are closer to the light source are warmer, and areas further away from the light source are cooler. Keep doing this throughout the painting and add more details as you go along. Don't forget to blend with a big dry brush. Now I'd like to talk about some of my struggles with this painting. One of them is the reference photo, which is chopped off, and it was also black and white. So I had to improvise her color and the rest of her arm and back. How I overcame this is that I researched the muscles and bone structures of the arm and back. I even tried to pose like her in front of the mirror and flexing my arm and back to get a better understanding of how these muscle groups look. If you understand how the body works, it goes so much further to make your subject come to life. This skill especially comes in super handy when you have limited time to capture a live subject, or if your reference photo is just not crystal clear. I also improvised the color by deciding on a tone of the shadow and a tone of the lightest part of her face, then making sense of the rest of her face in relation to these two colors. For example, all the other shadows cannot be darker than the darkest dark that I just picked, and the same idea with the light. By looking at the photo, I can see that the top left of her face is closest to the light source, as you can see the white highlight. And everything closer to the light source will be warmer, containing more cadmium tones, whereas areas further away from the light source will be cooler, containing more ultramarine blue. So even though you can't see the color in the reference photo, I can gauge the value by figuring out where the light source is. I knew this reference photo would be a challenge for me because I didn't have a complete picture of the subject and I would have to improvise a lot, but it was definitely a good practice for me. Ever since I traveled to Thailand and spent some time with elephants, I've absolutely fell in love with these majestic creatures. Every one of them has their own unique personalities, and they're so playful and gentle even though they're so massive in size. They're also very intellectual as well. The idea of incorporating a mandala design with this creature seemed like the perfect combination when I was brainstorming for this piece. This painting was overall very fun, and I hope you found this helpful in starting your next oil painting. You can find out more about my creative process on Instagram at mandykeyart and my art shop at mandykeyart.com. Thanks again for stopping by. I hope you all have a beautiful and inspiring day.